Hi, my name's Andrew. I'm the head brewer at Wantsum Brewery. I'm going to talk to you today about one of our latest beers, which is a collaboration brew with a brewery from San Diego called Thorn Brewing Company with their head brewer Doug. We started talking about doing this collaboration brew about 4 months ago over email, which was very interesting because we were always having to convert everything from the US system to our metric system, so always converting from ounces into pounds and grams, to grams and kilos. So basically, we decided we wanted to do a beer that was 6%, a hazy IPA, hence the name Transatlantic Fog. The way how we achieved that was by creating a malt bill that would help give us the haze and using a variety of hops and dry hopping heavily to give us that haze. So the malt bill for this beer was, the base malt was pale ale with a little bit of Maris Otter to help give a little bit of a biscuity flavour. We used a tiny amount of Cara 30 to give it the colour we desired, and we used tons of rolled oats and torrefied wheat to help give the beer really good head retention, body, and basically give it a really nice, smooth, creamy mouthfeel. So this is how the beer has turned out in the end. It's got a lovely colour, it's very hazy, a nice creamy head on it, and it just smells very citrusy, floral, hoppy. It's really pleasant to drink actually. You wouldn't realise it was 6%. The hops that we used in the beer were Citra, Simcoe and Mandarina Bavaria. We used the same amount of each hop throughout the brew. We added the hops at 15 and 5 minutes to the end of the boil. That was so that we could get different levels of bitterness and flavour into the beer. And then finally we chilled the beer down before adding the bulk of the hops that we used in the whirlpool to just give pure flavour and aroma of the hops that we were using. Finally, we fermented the beer with both English and American yeast to give it a very unique flavour profile, something that I'd never really done before, and I think we're really happy with the finished product really. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Thanet Beer Festival, what we're trying to achieve here. So we're basically going to do a taste comparison between having the same beer off of keg and off of cask. It's exactly the same batch of beer, it's exactly the same brew, so the only difference is that one of the beers has been placed into a keg and the other has been placed into a cask. We haven't added any finings at all, and we're just going to see what people prefer really. The idea is that some people have this misconception about keg beer, and some people prefer keg beer over cask beer, so we're just trying to give people the option to try the two beers together and make a decision for themselves what they prefer. There might be that they can't tell any difference, it might be that they preferred to what they would usually choose, or it might be that they stick to the guns, but at least we're giving people the opportunity to see the differences of what a keg beer is and what a cask beer is. The other great thing about this is that we're also giving people the opportunity to try and unfined beer. There's also this misconception at the moment that if a beer is hazy and cloudy, it might be considered that it's off or bad. That can be the case sometimes, but the reason why it happens in this style of beer is not because it's full of yeast and sediment. It's actually because we've used tons of rolled oats and torrefied wheat, which has helped give it its haze. We've also dry hopped the beer heavily, which also helps add to the haze of the beer, and we've not added any finings at all to help drop out any of that haze in the beer. It's not yeast though. What we've done is we've crash chilled the beer about 3 to 4 days before barreling to about 0 degrees, so any yeast particles that might have been in the beer would have sunk to the bottom of the fermenter and been drawn off before we barreled the beer. So I will actually be at the festival working on the stands that we'll be serving the beer from between 12 and 2 on both Friday and Saturday, and you're very welcome to come talk to me about the beer if you've got any questions, or whether you just want to have a chat about brewing or anything like that, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Cheers!